Welcome to Charged Up Studio Live, where small business owners get charged up for success. Are you a small business owner? Do you find yourself struggling through the many responsibilities that come with the title entrepreneur? Well, we're here for you. Charged Up Studio is hosted by Market Atomy LLC, your prescription for what we call OPA. What is OPA? It's when you become so overwhelmed with the confusion that comes with business ownership that you become paralyzed and ultimately avoid doing anything in hopes it will take care of itself, or you put it off till later. Does that sound familiar? I'm your host, Danna Olivo, and each week we bring a business professional eager to charge you up as they talk about the many things that keep you from moving forward with your small business. So are you ready to get charged up for success? Let's hit it. So welcome back to Charged Up Studio, where we bring you insightful conversations with industry leaders and experts. I'm Danna Olivo, your host, and today we're continuing our Session 5 monthly focus on taking the digital leap, navigating the future of business transformation. So this week's focus will explore the latest trends and strategies in digital transformation for small business. Unless you've been living under a rock, we've all heard the term CRM, or customer relationship management, thrown around in the corporate landscape. So today's guest took the leap from music and all things entertainment and moved into the business development side and technology. As CEO and founder of Segwik, he has experienced firsthand the struggles with taking a concept to fruition. His expertise and lessons learned have allowed him the ability to look into the need for simplicity and efficiency in customer relations within the small business environment, providing a holistic solution that is easily adoptable, implementable, and scalable. So let's all give a hearty Charged Up Studio welcome to Mr. Pete Romano with Segwik. Welcome, Pete.
Hey, Danna, it's so great to be here with you and to reconnect and see all of your great success. Just can't wait to get into things here. I love the topic.
Oh, fantastic. So before we get started, I always ask my guests one specific question to kind of break the ice and so that my audience can get to know you a little bit better. So are you ready?
Yeah, I think so. It's a
It's not
surprise.
a hard question.
All right.
So
I
if
want to phone a friend.
okay, yeah, use your phone a friend if you have to, maybe your wife or whoever. So if you were to go back and confront your younger self, what sage advice would you give him and at what age?
Oh, wow. Um, the Thinking about this, what the first, I mean, there's so many life lessons. You live an entire life. I'm 44 years old. You can jump back to any age, but when I was in high school and getting into college, I was pretty talented at music. I was pretty good at that, and I got involved in what some in your audience might know is drum corps, which is almost like professional
Right.
marching band. I was a band geek at the time, and even though you're a band geek, you could still develop a little bit of a chip on your shoulder because you're on the drum line, and being on the drum line is all about attitude
Yeah.
and competition. And I got into college and I was pretty good. I was always a good student. And maybe what I would tell my younger self back then was that, recognize that the world owes you nothing and you're just another person here, and that get that chip off your shoulder and really just start to participate, because participate with the friends, and be part of the group. Don't It took me a long time to recognize that the A plus students end up working for the B and the B minus students.
That's true. That's true. Especially when we talk about academia versus experience, real life
Right.
experience. There's a big difference between the learning curve when it comes to being thrown out there in the market and having to earn a living and learn that way than just going through academia. So yes, definitely, definitely. So let's dive right into our topic. And, in order to do that, can you start by giving our listeners an overview of what digital transformation means in the context of small business?
Sure. It's a buzzword now. Maybe some have heard of it, maybe some haven't. But even the definition of that word is being rewritten even as we speak now, with that AI coming into play, and um, new technologies being released every day. And so at our organization, we got big into AI recently, and I saw another person mention this, that and this isn't the end all be all, but I love this anecdote, that AI isn't going to take your job, but a company using AI is going to take your business, basically. And so we're incorporating a lot of AI that's helped us leapfrog. But before AI was the big hot topic, like you said in your intro, CRM and business automation is always going to be there. It's not the end. Just because AI is here, it's not the end of history for customer management, business automation. And in fact, the AI is just really helping to do that much even better. And so
Right.
at our organization, we're really focusing on my favorite topic, which is customer journey and customer experience. What we did at Segwik was we really tried to look at CRM, which is normally just a inward facing tool, inward facing the employees, inward facing the managers and the owner. It's an accountability tool. It's a 4-letter, 3-letter word. And we tried to recognize that if you design your CRM from the perspective of how is the customer experiencing every step of their journey through your business, then your customer is going to be happier, your staff's going to be happier, and you're going to end up with a more scalable business. And so for us, business transformation, digital transformation, it's about, because I don't think I answered your question yet, it's about recognizing that your business is a set of processes, or it ought to be thought of as a set of processes.
Yes.
And once you recognize that, then okay, those processes become emblazoned on the automation that a CRM can handle. And so now you've taken your entire business and you've put the weight of it on the shoulders of a CRM tool, and that tool holds up all of the mundane tasks, helping to keep you in line, helping to keep the imperfect humans in line. And that's what digital transformation means to us.
No, excellent. I love the way you said that, because of the fact that the CRM is strictly a tool. It's a tool, but it's you behind it that is building that CRM. It's your systems and your processes that you're putting into place. And that's why you went into business in the first place. So, to me, a CRM is a tool that's designed to streamline these processes and these systems and things like that, so that you are not spending so much time doing that admin work, or all of that stuff. And it's to me, it also provides that platform for sharing communication easily among your team members.
Yeah, so I love the topic of comparing it to a tool. It is just a tool.
It is.
And anybody listening, probably whether they live in a house or in an apartment, they probably have a hammer in a drawer somewhere, and you give that hammer to a baby or an unskilled tradesperson, and they're going to build some kind of home with it. They could build four walls maybe in a box and with some nails, but you
Right.
give that same exact tool to a master craftsman, and you could build a $3 million mansion in the hills if you want. And so what I see every day with businesses who come to us, they're almost they almost have a sort of shame in their eyes because we've all signed up for free CRM packages, and most CRMs, I call them IKEA CRMs because they come like, like a box, like a flat box, and you're
And you have
expected
to assemble
to
them.
read the instructions and just
Yeah.
try to like put this together. And we know how stressful that can be. Even if you can get through the instructions, it's still flimsy and it's gonna kind of fall
Yes.
apart. And
It's
so,
funny you it's funny you say that because for the last month, that's what I've been doing is ordering all of these different cabinets, and pantries and stuff like that, and assembling them myself. Well, my husband a little bit too, but to read those instructions and then to realize, oh, I put that thing on backwards or something like
yeah,
that.
because sometimes the instructions are wrong. Sometimes the hole isn't in the right place on the little drawing.
Exactly.
It doesn't
Exactly.
make any sense. So we recognize that Segwik because we had such a client services background. My background was in marketing and video production. And when you're hired as a video producer, you can't just show up with your tripod and a camera, drop it on a business's front door, ring the doorbell, and run away. And
Right.
that's what all of our competitors basically do, or at least they make people feel like they can do it themselves. But if you want the Ferrari of a business, if you want that business that's scalable, that's going to grow, that's going to, yeah, hockey stick, in the next year, you're not going to get there by somebody dumping the instructions to a Ferrari on your front door, even if you had all of the Ferrari parts. And so that's what our specialty is digging in, diving in, and really unwinding the challenges that a business is having, because the manner in which you start to swing that hammer has everything to do with the amount of success that you're going to have with your CRM implementation. And your CRM implementation is critical to the success of your business.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And a lot of small businesses, don't really understand what customer relationship management is all about. And they think that they're giving up control of the overall customer experience.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, I don't want it to be automated. I want
yes,
it to be personalized and that kind of
yes.
stuff.
So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about how the different what the different areas that a CRM platform can enhance and streamline. For instance, like customer data centralization. Again, we get back to the communication aspect among your teams. Okay, your sales and marketing. Your improved customer services or data analytics. Let's talk a little bit about the information or the value that a CRM brings to a small business.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yes.
So the the way that I think about things is that um, when you show up to work on any given day, right now it's January 5th. A lot of people are at work right now, and in front of them or sort of in the air around them are various customers and clients that are at different points of their cycle, of their sales cycle, or really of their entire customer life cycle. There's all these different people. And it starts to cause a lot of confusion because at this day on Friday, January 5th, there's some problems over here with their business, an employee, somebody didn't show up, some customer complaining. It's all very muddled. And so what I try to get our clients to do is to try to block all of that out and start to think, try to revert back to, if you could just take one customer, if you could get rid of all of that noise and get rid and just think of one customer and what the perfect flow might be from the beginning of their life cycle all the way to the end of their life cycle. And during that life cycle, you have to do outreach because that customer doesn't know about you yet. So you have to do marketing and you have to think about, am I going to email blast people? Am I going to get a list? Am I going to go to a networking event? Am I going to do some LinkedIn networking? Okay, so if I go to a networking event and I capture a business card, I collect a business card, What do I do with that information? Okay, well, now that I have that information in, well, where do I stick it? What fields are important? And so you start to really, you have to break these things down because every business is like a software program. I feel that I was very, very blessed to make this decision to develop a CRM because what it forced me personally to do was to really think of every small moment because any of those little moments from marketing leading to sales, from sales leading to a quote, from quote leading to onboarding, from onboarding leading to contract management, any one of those steps, I started to recognize that it's really just about data moving from one step to another. And so we have to stop managing data in 1,000 different places on your spreadsheets, in your email marketing, et cetera. Your CRM becomes your one point of truth. And that if you can, you have no other points of truth, but that's that's getting into an ERP and we're not really there
Right.
yet. So you have a
Right.
few different softwares, but we have to simplify. We have to get these all connected and you have to think of every step along the customer journey. So to answer your question, a well-implemented CRM is going to handle all of that stuff for you from marketing all the way through project management, through customer loyalty. You can sit there and design the business rules one step at a time.
And I want to point out when you say the CRM will handle all of this, it's not them actually handling it. It's all the data is contained in there. You're handling the process going through as far as the CRM is concerned. Between your team members, between
Well,
you and things like that. Because this is where small businesses, new business who are not experienced with technology and things like that is there is a human aspect behind it, you know.
Well, absolutely. So you don't want to remove the humanity from your
Right,
business. In fact, your CRM, what I call your customer journey management system, can actually be there to make sure that you remember to infuse your
right,
customer experiences with humanity. And I'll rephrase something that you just said a moment ago is that we want to, as business owners, we're busy people. We have to
right,
maximize our day. If there is anything that you're doing that can be automated, automate that. If
right.
it's and if it's an automation that you think, well, that requires a little bit of input, well, automate it to the point of that human input, and then
Exactly.
let that human do that thing, and then let the CRM get back to doing business. I'll give you one quick example, a
All
real
right.
example.
Yes.
I'll give your audience a little teaser. So it's the right thing to do when you have a meeting with, if you have a prospect in your system and they decide to book a meeting on your calendar booker. Okay, well, in my world, the best ideal thing to do is that person's not a prospect anymore. They're now a lead.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe they're an active lead and then you want to maybe create an opportunity because this is an opportunity for a new sale because you have a meeting now and maybe you want to make sure that that person ends up on your email marketing list. And so I just described 4 or 5 different little human actions. Somebody books, now
Right.
you need to toggle them from a prospect to a lead. Now you need to make an opportunity. Now you need to take them out of those 2 softwares that I just mentioned and move them into your email marketing software. That's a lot of human steps. And so that's a fish in a that's a big goldfish in a small goldfish
Right.
bowl. You're not
Right.
going to grow with that. And how do you even teach that? How do you even hold your staff accountable to do all of those steps? And so you got to get rid of all of that. You have to do these best practices, but you have to think about them as rules of a piece of software. When this happens, then we're going to do this and then also do this. But if this condition is met, do this and this and this.
Right.
And that's what we're observing every day.
Right, right. No, and I love the way that you described that, as far as the way that we can move these prospects through, from a cold lead or a cold prospect to a warm lead and things like that. And really what it does boil down to is the systems were developed and implemented into the CRM, to trigger us, to
Right.
give us those triggers look, this customer, like I use Calendly for all of my schedules. And I mean, I'm amazed at the number of appointments that I get through Calendly. And I've
Right,
had to go into Calendly, just like a CRM, go into
right.
Calendly, and I have different categories for all of my appointments. So there's different links, and each one is color coded. So when it comes into my Google Calendar, I know by looking at it by color whether it's a podcast appointment, whether it is a client appointment, whether it's a new business development appointment. Those are the kind of things that I have developed as a strategist in my business that helps me keep myself organized. And that's what CRM is all about.
Yeah, and just building off of your example right there. So if I was coaching your business and thinking, brainstorming here, I would say, okay, so you have this one, I call them a customer journey entry point, which is your calendar booker. That's where people come into your world. Think about that as the front door to your house, and you might have a handful of front doors. You have a front door on your website, you have a front door from your booker, you have a front door from just meeting you personally. Now, when people come into that, they come into your calendar booker. You have that one point of entry
Right,
has 3 or 4 or 5 different flavors to that. They might be a podcast booker, they might be a potential client, they might just be a networking friend from any of our common networking groups. And so, what do we do to now use technology to do best practices in the back office, but now best practices for what do we need to do? Build likeness, knowledge, and trust in that person. So what do you start to do? Well, let me infuse each one of those entry points with a really nice email follow-up
right,
and make sure that that looks beautiful. Okay, well, what can I say to the podcaster? What can I say to the potential client? You can record a beautiful video saying,
right,
hey there, thank you so much for booking on my appointment. I see that you're interested in solving problem XYZ. We're going to get, when we meet, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and make sure you're prepared with this and this and this.
right,
Can't wait to see you.
right.
And
That's
then,
exactly it. Yep. That's
yeah,
exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And that's what we call the customer experience. And
yeah,
and with that customer experience at every touch point, we need to understand what is the customer expecting. And that's
right.
what's built into the CRM.
And then let me take what we just said and put a challenge back to those people who say, "Well, I want to keep everything very personal." Is it more personal for a person to book on your calendar and just get that stoic, boring Google thing, like yes, and you click yes or whatever? Or is it more personal to connect your booker to a beautiful email trigger that has some nice emojis and a beautiful subject line and a beautiful video that is exactly queued up to what the exact interaction that they signed up for.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I love it. In all honesty, I'm all about CRMs and that customer experience and everything. And this is what I want my audience to be able to understand is the fact that you're wearing so many hats right now as a small business, micro business owner that is keeping you from going out there and generating that revenue that you need. And we all know small business owners need that revenue coming in. So, what can you offload and still be able to continue doing what you do and know that it's being taken care of? Short of hiring a virtual assistant, a CRM is the next best thing. And even that virtual assistant is going to need a CRM.
Right. And the CRM empowers that virtual assistant
Exactly.
because you can have that CRM placing phone calls from your business phone number. They could be anywhere in the world and placing calls. They could be sending texts. They could be sending emails. And so it's really a tool. People have the whole CRM world backwards. They like I said earlier, I'll say it again. In business, it's the 3 letter, 4 letter word. And so it's not the tool that's there to hold you accountable and I didn't put in my stuff, you didn't put in your input. That's what I hear all the time. You
Right.
didn't input your stuff, you didn't input your That's not what it's about at all. It's about freeing you. It's not about shackling you.
Yes. And talk about inputting stuff and everything. Before I go to my next statement here is when you're working with a team, it's up to you to make sure that they understand the need for them to implement or include their information into this platform because it's only going to work when everybody is using it.
Yeah, you have to get buy-in from all stakeholders, as we say. And I like to think of if you're a sole proprietor, a CRM is definitely going to help get you organized and keep you organized. But the value of a CRM starts to become very apparent when you start to have a team, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, because now you start to have processes that are distributed across multiple people. You have a single customer where multiple people in the back room have to touch that stakeholder, as well as people in the front room who have to also communicate with that. And I start to think of every time a human needs to get involved in a process, I think about it as taking wine bottles and stacking them on end. And that each wine bottle is a human, where the
Yeah,
process is this stack.
right,
And so every time you try to stack something on, it's like this teetering kind of behavior, because one person does something, and then what does that handoff look like? That little handoff right there sometimes creates 2 weeks of delay, a week of delay, 3 weeks of delay, because people are not communicating properly. And so a well-tailored CRM is going to draw those people together. It's going to take couplers and put them on every handoff.
right, exactly. So one concern with small businesses that I've run into as a strategist, and I work with these small businesses, and one of the things that I do work with them is you need to start deciding on a CRM, that type deal. But one of their biggest concern is the cost associated. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cost because there's such a broad range of costs when it comes to CRMs. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, so you have a lot of different business models. I guess I would be a little bit, what's the word, cute when I say, like, well, what is it costing you to not have a CRM? And even it was maybe a year ago or more when our organization implemented a simple task tracking mechanism. And after 2 days or 3 days, I turned to my CTO and I said, boy, how much time have we lost just not having this tool in place? And so, yes, there's different tools, there's different costs, and different companies. You're you end up falling victim to the marketing of these companies that
Right,
make you feel that just signing up for this thing, this monthly thing, is going to fix everything, and they don't. They
right,
overpromise and they underdeliver. And it's like you're getting into a car, and us older folks, we probably know how to drive a stick shift car. Some younger folks might not have be able to do that. Or like I said earlier, it's like showing up with all of the Ferrari parts and the instructions, but what are you going to do with that?
right, right,
So people need to, businesses who are interested in figuring this out, they really need to start to, you don't need the Ferrari right now. You're a small business.
right,
You need the Ford version. Okay, well, when you start to grow a little bit, okay, well, maybe you get the Acura and you start to grow, and now I have the Mercedes. And so you end up getting a CRM that is in line with where you are. The CRM needs to meet the business where it's at, oftentimes. But I want to put a big parentheses around everything that we're saying, because before you do that, before you go out shopping for a CRM, this is the fatal mistake that every business makes, is that they go window shopping. They go kicking these tires. Oh, well, this one has this business model with these features. This one has this kind of pricing model with these features. And none of them really satisfy all of their needs. And so what I say to businesses is you have to self-reflect first. You have to look inward first, and you have to spend time on the whiteboard or on some sort of graphing mechanism, because before you go window shopping for a CRM, you need to have your journey mapped out. You need to have what your perfect version of your business is. Like I said, A leads to B, B leads to C. If something happens at C, skip D, go to F, et cetera, et cetera. And you have to spend that time, because otherwise you're going to buy a car without a license.
Yeah.
You're fishing
Yeah.
with, I don't know, you could come up with your own analogy,
Right.
but
Right. And you're right, that's part of what I discuss with my clients is you do have to take a step back, look at whatever applications you're already using and how can they be integrated into the CRM, first of all. But secondly, you want to make sure that the CRM that you do eventually sign on with can grow with you. Okay, so you want to make sure that the platform that the CRM is developed in is not going to become obsolete the faster you grow or the bigger you grow, because then you're going to go through the whole process again of integrating all your data and everything else into a whole new platform, you know. And sometimes price is not the deciding factor.
right.
Okay, free is not good sometimes, so they may have
Well,
free versions, okay, but it doesn't include everything that you might need right now, but they may include modules that you want to implement later on down the road.
the um the businesses that gravitate towards the free versions of software are the same kinds of businesses that don't understand what their own lead magnets are. And
Right.
so what they have to understand for the business that, oh, well, I have the free version of this or I have the free version of that, is that those are just set up as a lead magnet to get you in the door. And they purposely find where to put up. It's not that they can't unlock some feature, they purposely find a roadblock to stick in your face that you're going to need to get over. Maybe it's a limit in how many contacts, maybe it's
Mhm.
some other
Yeah.
kind of behavior that's limited. And you're, oh, I really need that behavior, but you were attracted to the fancy logo and the free thing, and now you've bought in. And so again, you have to map out what it is that, if you weren't buying software off the shelf and you could just design your dream yacht, your dream house, design that dream house first, and then figure out, what do I need to support this dream house?
Right, right. And on another note along that same line is there are so many applications or companies, like you said, it's the market's saturated out there. And there's a lot of them that are just coming online that claim that they can do this and they can do that. But they're not established. They're not they haven't proven the capabilities. They don't have, and so they may be offering a free version, okay, for you to come in as a beta tester here, or something like that. And I tend to kind of take that with a grain of salt when it's brand new. I know Pete, you and Sedgwick have been around for a while. I met you way long ago when you were first starting out, and I know the headaches you were having then. That's why the title of this is what it is because there is a growth, there is a process that, especially when you're dealing with technology, that you take that concept and you grow it, okay, but at the same time you're as you're growing it, you're proving it,
Right.
and you're building a network around you that can come around and say, look, they really do this. This is really great. I can't tell you how many times I've run into technology companies that, before they even get off the ground, they become obsolete. And then where does that leave you? You know.
The Like I said, I was very fortunate to be a service provider first and a technology provider second, and that's forced us to have to just make sure that the people that come on our platform are successful, and that we have to gear our solution to them and not the reverse.
Okay, all right. We're coming up on the end of another podcast. So let's talk a little bit about Sedgwick. Tell
Sure.
tell the audience a little bit about Sedgwick and what it is you bring to the table. Okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, early in my career, I was a marketing advisor. I was working with small businesses, and I recognized that everybody really wanted to grow their business. They all wanted sales. They wanted more leads. But it didn't take me long consulting that when I would say, well, I brought you 30 leads, I brought you 40 leads. Well, what's happening? Why are you still complaining? Well, they didn't have the back office or the support to even ingest that. And so I ask every business who wants to grow and who wants to uh, grow their business. If you had 100 new customers ready to buy, money in hand, showing up your door tomorrow, well, what would you do? Are you prepared? And so I really take a page out of the E-Myth where I start to think about um, what is the franchisable version of your business? Even if you don't want to franchise, if that's not even in your goals, think about, if I was to sell this business, what is that magic box where money just goes in and profits come out? And
Right.
with the confines of that box, what are the little mechanisms in there? And so I became obsessed with this idea that every business is just a set of systems, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you're placing a call, if you're responding to LinkedIn, it's something that if it's worth doing one time, then it's worth coming up with a process for it. And if you're only doing it one time, then what's it doing there at all? There is nothing that happens in business just this one time.
Right.
Maybe make a little exception for a person, but even if you're making an exception for a person, a discount or something, well, under what framework is that discount happening? And
Right.
so Segwik was created so that I could recognize this franchisable version of our of every client that we worked with, so that I didn't need to personally be subject to the whims of other software companies. And so Segwik is really great for helping to define every step of the customer journey, from the marketing to the sales to the onboarding, and really building an elegant process that your customers love and that your staff is going to love.
And it's important, what you point out there is it's not a one-time thing, okay? Because just once the contract is signed or, the payment is made, the relationship does not stop there, okay? It continues. It continues through your accounting department, and it continues through your service department and everything. And that's why it's so important for these CRM platforms to be able to document and track all of that movement so that the customer ultimately comes out on the back end as your salesperson. When you
Right.
think about it.
That's a really interesting, wow. You just gave me a great way to think about. Thank you, Dana.
Oh
Is
yeah,
it's like it's like the process of working with your customers is, how do you convert them into a salesperson for yourself?
exactly. That's exactly it. They become loyal fans, and ultimately they become your salesperson on the back end. So,
Love
but
that.
with it comes that experience that they can talk to, which is really important. So,
Right, yeah.
yeah, any final advice you want to give our audience out there?
Never stop learning and go to that whiteboard. Just start mapping your processes. Map forget about your inward processes. Map what the customer experiences
Yeah.
and then go backwards from there.
Put yourself in their shoes,
Mhm.
not what you expect them to want, but you've got to ask them. You've got to find out what they want, what their expectations are. So we're coming up on the end of another episode of Charged Up Studio. And thank you once again, Pete, for joining us today and shedding light on how we as small business owners can incorporate a CRM system into our businesses. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. So, how can our listeners reach you should they want to?
Just visit segwik.com. You'll find a booker. Just book on our calendar. We want to hear from everybody. If they're a friend of Dana, they're a friend of ours.
Excellent, excellent. And I will be including all the contact information in the transcripts once this podcast episode drops. So that concludes our podcast for today. Please leave a review on any of the streaming platforms you're listening to us on, or go to our Charged Up Studio Facebook page and leave a review there. Charged Up Studio is a product of Market Atomy and Market Atomy Academy, the e-learning system specifically designed with the micro business owner in mind. For more information and to register for our mini courses, go to Market Atomy, MARKET atomy.academy, and check it out. Once again, this is Danna Olivo, your host for Charged Up Studio. Go out and have a charged up week until next week when we bring you another exciting guest. Talk to you later. You've been listening to Charged Up Studio Live, the podcast with you, the small business owner, in mind, with your host, Danna Olivo. Join us every Tuesday as we bring you valuable tips and insights into many of the topics you don't know about growing a successful business. Please leave us a review on any of the streaming platforms you are listening to, or visit us on the YouTube or Facebook page and leave a review or subscribe so you don't miss another episode. You can also support us through Patreon by visiting our website, chargedupstudio.live, and click on the Patreon link. Until next week, go out and have a charged up week.